What's going on, guys? This is Dave, aka Dynasty Dorks, and we are doing our rookie series. We are starting out with the 2023 quarterbacks. We got Brad, the FF Bourbon Dude, here with me. We're going to go through our top 7 quarterbacks, and we're going to do an individual episode for each. So please stay tuned for this mini series. You can check it out on sportsgamblingpodcast.com or follow us on SGPN Fantasy Football wherever you get your downloads. This is the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and we're presented to you by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100 to get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. Let's talk about CJ Stroud.
Yeah, so as Dave mentioned, this episode we are going to talk about CJ Stroud, quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And look, when you talk about production, this guy has smashed it for the last 2 years, coming in with damn near 9,000 passing yards, 85 touchdowns, and the beautiful number of only 12 interceptions. 85 to 12 on an interception, touchdown to interception ratio. It is absolutely outstanding. 2 seasons from CJ Stroud, coming in at that kind of prototypical size that you'd like to see out of your quarterback. He's not too big, he's not too small, he's right in the middle. He's at 6'3", 218 pounds. We will revisit these quarterbacks as well, as Dave mentioned, once we have some combine data and some pro days and all that kind of thing. So we don't have the BMI, we don't have the measurables that you see on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube and you're listening to the podcast, make sure you go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com to check out these rookie cards. It's a pretty quick, nice tool to be able to see these rookie quarterbacks or the incoming 2023 class. So, Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about the pros and cons associated with CJ Stroud?
So CJ Stroud has been one of the hottest quarterbacks in the last 2 years, and you can see the highlights. He throws a pretty deep ball. While he's not a rusher, he's extremely elusive in the pocket, and his ability to navigate the pocket, it helps him. It really does help him create plays inside the pocket and allows receivers to get open. These two things coupled, with the big players that he had at Ohio State helped him become a big play machine. In many cases, quarterbacks will force the ball, and CJ just doesn't do that. He takes care of the ball, and he's someone that creates for his playmakers, and that's why I'm a big fan. You can see some of the pros and cons on here: 3 pros, 3 cons, and a player comp. Deep ball accuracy. His deep ball accuracy is elite. Not only does he throw a pretty ball and it looks aesthetically pleasing, but he gives the players the ability to make plays. He puts enough air under the ball. He knows how to layer the ball in a way that players can go up and get it, high point the ball, but also contract the ball down the field. A lot of quarterbacks struggle with this. You see, a lot of the knocks on Tua, guys having to come back for the ball. He has no problem with that. There's no issues. And you see it again with the intermediate throws where guys can catch the ball in stride and make huge plays. Touch and anticipation. This guy throws people open. He knows where people got to be, and he knows when to put touch on it, when to squeeze it in there. And he has an NFL arm. He can make all the throws, all the different angles. And pocket presence. This guy has poise. He's definitely not rattled in the pocket. And when things break down, I talked about earlier how he can still create big plays. He does that because his eyes are always down the field and he's always looking to make a play, and he makes great decisions with the ball. Cons, the rushing ability. This is fantasy football. We're looking for someone to have, rushing upside. CJ Stroud's not that guy. He can do it, and he showed up in the biggest game of the year, and he showed he can rush, but he's not someone that's going to be doing that 7 or 8 times a game, getting you 40 or 50 yards a game. His creativity outside of the pocket, we just don't see him out of the pocket that much, so we haven't been able to see that. but you see a lot of these fantasy football studs, their creativity outside the pocket, the Mahomes, the Allen, those kind of guys that are elite. You just don't see that yet with Stroud, and hopefully that's something he develops. And then the other thing is Ohio State. Like they're going to hold it against them. The pro scouts are going to hold it against them, and the fantasy community is going to hold it against them. People are going to wait until they see it because they've been burned by Dwayne Haskins and burned by some of these other Ohio State quarterbacks. And it's, they say it's the system. They want to put it on the Ohio State system, and CJ Stroud's going to have to prove them wrong. And speaking of Ohio State, I got Ohio State transfer Joe Burrow as the player comp. I like Joe Burrow and Jared Goff as a player comp here. Similar sizes, similar playing styles. And I'm a big fan of CJ Stroud. He is our consensus quarterback 2.
Yeah, and if you listen to the episode a few days ago, last week, I talked about CJ Stroud being my number 2 as well, but possibly him falling in the rankings as I watch more and more tape of him. And I'm going to tell you, it's the complete opposite. If anything, he solidified himself at 2 and quite possibly could end up being my quarterback 1 after I get through all of the evaluations. We are still early. There are still pro days and measurables and all those things that have to come in and more tape to be watched. But I'm telling you, this guy's got all of the skills. I love everything and agree with everything that you said, Dave. And we're going to get into our third quarterback after this episode, and that's going to be Will Levis, the quarterback for the Kentucky Wildcats. So make sure you tune in. Check us out on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Hell, throw in a comment. Let us know how you feel about CJ Stroud, and tune in for our next quarterback. And this series is brought to you by WynnBET. WynnBET is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WynnBET is active in a bunch of states, and there are tons of ways to win, including live betting and same-game parlays. The NFL playoffs are here, and they are running great promos, odds, and payouts that are happening right now at WynnBET. So if you're ready to play, sign up today and receive our special offer of bet $100, get $100. That is limited to state availability. And of course, if you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you'll also get $1,000 free credit. There are so many things to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET so they know we sent you. Again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. Offer is subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.